500 years ago, people didn't have memory foam mattresses, blackout curtains, sleep trackers, supplements, or white noise machines. And yet, they slept better than most of us do today. There was no chronic insomnia, no endless scrolling at midnight, no waking up exhausted after 8 hours in bed. Sleep wasn't something they struggled to achieve. It simply happened. So what changed? Tonight, we're going back to a time when sleep was simple, deep, and natural. A time when darkness meant rest, silence meant safety, and sleep wasn't something you had to fix. This isn't nostalgia. This is biology. And by the end of this story, you'll understand why modern life quietly stole something essential from our nights. 500 years ago, night was truly dark. Not dim, not atmospheric. Truly dark. There were no streetlights glowing through windows, no illuminated buildings, no screens lighting up faces at midnight. When the sun went down, the world faded into shadow. That darkness wasn't an inconvenience, it was a signal. A powerful biological command telling the human body it was time to rest. Human sleep evolved in darkness. Complete darkness triggers melatonin production, the hormone that tells your brain it's safe to shut down. Medieval people didn't need pills or supplements to make this happen. Their environment did the work for them. Today, even with the lights turned off, bedrooms are filled with artificial glow. Alarm clocks, phone chargers, routers, TVs on standby, street lamps outside the window. Your brain never fully believes it's night anymore. Medieval brains did. When darkness fell, the body followed. Sleep also followed the sun, not the clock. There were no alarm clocks forcing people awake against their biology. No rigid schedules demanding productivity at unnatural hours. People slept when they were tired and woke when the light returned. In winter, they slept longer. In summer, they slept less. Sleep adapted naturally to the seasons. The body adjusted without stress or resistance. Today, we fight this rhythm every day. We wake up in darkness, stay awake under artificial light, and then wonder why we feel tired all the time. Medieval sleep was flexible. Modern sleep is rigid, and the body resents that. The nights were also quiet, in a way we can barely imagine. No traffic, no engines, no distant sirens, no mechanical hum from appliances or electronics. Even when you think your home is quiet today, your nervous system hears constant low-level noise. 500 years ago, silence arrived with nightfall. Silence wasn't eerie, it was calming. Muscles relaxed, breathing slowed. The nervous system finally stood down. That's why people today pay for silence, white noise machines, soundproof windows, earplugs. Medieval people had silence by default. Bedrooms themselves were built for sleep, not style. Medieval sleeping spaces weren't designed for aesthetics or social media. They were built for warmth, safety, and rest. Thick stone walls, heavy wooden doors, small windows. These rooms stayed cool in summer and held heat in winter. Fireplaces warmed the structure of the home, not just the air. Beds were placed away from drafts. Curtains weren't decorative, they were insulation. Even the beds were different. Straw mattresses breathed. Wool blankets regulated temperature naturally. Natural materials adapted to the body instead of trapping heat. Modern synthetic mattresses do the opposite. They confuse the nervous system, overheat the body, and disrupt deep sleep cycles. Comfort improved, sleep quality didn't. Here's something most people don't know. Medieval people didn't sleep 8 hours straight. They slept in 2 phases. First sleep, then waking, then second sleep. This wasn't insomnia. It was normal. People would wake naturally for an hour or 2 in the middle of the night. They prayed, talked quietly, reflected, sometimes shared intimacy. Then returned to sleep without anxiety, There was no panic about being awake, no checking the time, no fear of tomorrow being ruined. Waking at night wasn't considered a problem. Today, waking up at 3 a.m. feels like failure. Historically, it was expected. Modern sleep anxiety is a modern invention. Food also played a role. Medieval people stopped eating when the sun went down. No late-night snacks, no sugar before bed, no caffeine after dark. Meals were earlier. Digestion finished before rest began. The stomach rested with the body. Today, heavy dinners, alcohol, and nighttime snacking force the body to work while the brain is supposed to shut down. Sleep and digestion now compete instead of cooperating. Physical fatigue was also real. Medieval life demanded movement. Walking, lifting, carrying, manual labor. People didn't need sleep aids. Their bodies earned rest. Today, mental exhaustion replaces physical tiredness. The brain is overstimulated while the body remains underused. That imbalance makes deep sleep harder. Medieval people collapsed into bed because their bodies needed recovery. Modern people lie awake because their bodies never fully engaged. There's also something subtle we've lost. At night, medieval people were unreachable. No calls, no messages, no notifications. When night came, obligations ended. Today, your brain stays alert because it might be needed. An email, an alert, an emergency. The nervous system never fully shuts off. Medieval nights were protected time. Sleep wasn't interrupted by the outside world. Sleep itself was ritual, not a task. It wasn't optimized, measured, or analyzed. People prepared for sleep the same way every night. Fires were lowered, candles dimmed, noise faded. Ritual told the brain it was time. Today, we try to force sleep instead of inviting it, and the brain resists force. We gained convenience. We lost rhythm. We gained light. We lost darkness. We gained comfort. We lost deep rest. People didn't sleep better because life was easier. They slept better because life followed nature, and nature hasn't changed. We did. If people slept better 500 years ago, the question isn't whether modern sleep is broken. The question is what we forgot. Darkness, silence, simplicity. Sleep doesn't need fixing. It needs remembering.
And yet, warmth was only the beginning. When we talk about medieval nights, we often imagine cold stone rooms and harsh living conditions. But what most people don't understand is that comfort isn't just physical, it's psychological. A medieval bedroom was not large. It was not minimalistic. It was enclosed. Heavy wooden doors, thick walls, small windows, curtains that blocked drafts, beds placed deliberately against interior walls for insulation. This enclosure mattered. Your nervous system relaxes when it feels contained. Modern bedrooms are open, exposed, filled with visual space. Medieval rooms were protective. You weren't sleeping in space. You were sleeping inside shelter, and shelter creates calm. There is something else we rarely acknowledge: proximity. Medieval people did not sleep alone in vast silence. Even if couples had private sleeping spaces, homes were shared. Breathing could be heard. Footsteps existed. The presence of others regulated fear. Human beings evolved as group sleepers. Modern isolation may look comfortable, but for the ancient nervous system, isolation equals vulnerability. When the woman in the candlelit room lowers herself beneath heavy wool blankets, it is not simply fabric warming skin. It is the weight of protection. The texture of woven wool pressing gently downward creates subtle pressure across the body. Modern science calls this deep pressure stimulation. It reduces cortisol. It calms the stress response. Medieval blankets accidentally did what weighted blankets try to recreate today. Warmth was steady. Fireplaces did not blast hot air intermittently. They radiated slow, constant heat. The body adapted to that gradual change. Modern heating systems fluctuate. Air turns on, off, shifts temperature quickly. The body never fully stabilizes. Stability creates sleep. But beyond the physical environment, there was rhythm. Evening routines were consistent. Fires were lowered the same way. Candles extinguished in similar order. Doors checked. Animals secured. Prayers spoken. Ritual signals the brain that the day is complete. Completion allows rest. Today, the day rarely completes. Notifications continue. Messages arrive. News cycles never end. The brain never receives closure. Medieval people didn't scroll through the suffering of distant lands before sleep. They knew only what existed within walking distance. This reduced mental load dramatically. Information density affects sleep depth. The medieval brain processed fewer narratives before bed, fewer emotional spikes, fewer visual triggers. When the eyes closed, the mind did not replay hundreds of unrelated stories. It replayed one day, one field, one conversation. Simplicity is neurologically powerful. There's also the matter of light spectrum. Firelight contains almost no blue light. It does not trick the brain into believing it is daytime. Modern LED screens emit intense blue light, suppressing melatonin production for hours. In medieval homes, darkness deepened gradually. Twilight lasted. Candles flickered. Fire dimmed. Sleep arrived like a slow tide. Now it is abrupt. Screen, blackness, attempt sleep. The nervous system does not pivot that quickly. And intimacy was different too. Not explicit. Not performative. Simply closer. Night was often the only quiet space couples shared without interruption. Conversation softened. Touch was unhurried. There were no schedules to optimize. No early morning commute anxiety. Physical closeness regulates breathing. It lowers heart rate. It increases oxytocin. Oxytocin deepens sleep. We have reduced intimacy to distraction. Medieval couples experienced it as rhythm. Even the sounds of night were organic. Wind against shutters. Occasional crackling wood. Distant animal movement. These sounds are non-threatening. They fade into background processing. Modern sounds spike attention. Engines, sirens, electronic tones designed to interrupt. Interruptions fragment sleep. And then there is the idea of expectation. Medieval people did not expect perfect sleep. They expected to wake. They expected to feel tired after harvest season. They did not label every restless night as disorder. Modern language medicalizes normal fluctuations. Once labeled, anxiety increases. Anxiety disrupts sleep further. 500 years ago, there were no sleep trackers reporting percentages. There was only how you felt at dawn, and dawn itself mattered. Sunlight entered rooms naturally. Curtains opened. Light touched skin. This reset circadian rhythms immediately. Today, many wake to artificial alarms in darkness, then move into artificial light. The body never receives a clean morning signal. Clear morning light improves the next night's sleep. Medieval life forced that clarity. There's another quiet truth. Fatigue was honest. When you have carried wood, walked miles, worked soil, and lived physically in your body all day, sleep comes as relief. Today, exhaustion is often mental, not muscular. The body lies still all day while the mind races. At night, the body is not ready to surrender because it never truly engaged. We confuse tired minds with tired bodies. They are not the same. Medieval nights also lacked comparison. There were no glowing images of other lives before sleep, no curated perfection, no social pressure entering the bedroom. Psychological comparison activates stress pathways. Without comparison, identity settles. Settled identity sleeps better. And yet, medieval life was not soft. It was difficult. Cold winters, hard labor, limited comfort. But that hardship existed primarily in daylight. Night was restoration. Modern hardship often follows us into bed through screens and thought loops. Perhaps that is the real difference. It is not that medieval people had superior mattresses. It is that night meant something different. Night meant ending. Night meant pause. Night meant safety inside walls, not endless awareness of the outside world. The body evolved to recognize darkness as closure. We have removed closure. When the woman beneath heavy woven blankets closes her eyes in candlelight, the world is already dimmed. There is no further stimulation waiting, no one expecting response. The room holds her. The air is warm. The sounds are predictable. Predictability reduces cortisol, and deep sleep requires low cortisol. Modern life raises baseline cortisol levels even in safe environments. The body carries invisible tension into the night. That tension fragments sleep cycles. We then attempt to fix fragmentation with devices and supplements, without addressing the root cause: overstimulation and misalignment. It is tempting to romanticize the past. That is not the point. The point is alignment. Human sleep evolved under certain conditions: darkness, group safety, physical fatigue, predictable rhythm, warm enclosure, limited information exposure. 500 years ago, those conditions were default. Today, they must be chosen deliberately. Better sleep does not require abandoning modern life, but it may require remembering ancient cues. Dim the lights gradually. End the day intentionally. Reduce late-night information. Allow wakefulness without panic. Cool the room. Use heavier natural fabrics. Seek real morning light. Small adjustments. Because the body has not changed, your nervous system is not broken. It is simply responding to an environment it was never designed for. And perhaps that is the quiet truth behind medieval sleep. It was not magical. It was natural. When night came, they entered it. We resisted. And until we learn again how to let darkness arrive gently, sleep will remain something we chase instead of something that comes. But there's something even deeper we haven't talked about yet. It's not just that medieval people slept in darker rooms or cooler houses. It's that their brains were not overloaded the way ours are. Your brain today processes more information in a single day than a medieval villager processed in a month. And your nervous system has not evolved fast enough to handle that difference. When a medieval person laid down at night, the only sounds were wind, fire, breathing, maybe distant animals. There were no artificial alerts. No sudden high-frequency sounds designed to grab attention. No dopamine spikes from scrolling. The brain gradually shifted from alertness to safety. Modern bedrooms are physically comfortable, but neurologically chaotic. Think about the last thing most people see before sleeping: a glowing screen, a moving feed, bright contrast, emotional triggers, news, arguments, advertising. Even if the content seems harmless, the brain stays in evaluation mode. And evaluation mode is the opposite of sleep mode. Medieval evenings had rituals. Small, repetitive, calming rituals. Banking the fire, folding wool blankets, saying prayers, sharing a final quiet conversation. Repetition signals safety to the brain. Ritual lowers cortisol. Today, evenings are unpredictable. One more email, one more episode, one more notification. There is no psychological closing of the day. And here's something fascinating. Medieval people often practiced what researchers now call segmented sleep. They slept in two phases. First sleep began shortly after sunset and lasted a few hours. Then they naturally woke up for an hour or two. They prayed, talked quietly, reflected, sometimes even visited neighbors. Then they returned to second sleep until dawn. This wasn't insomnia. It was normal. Historical records from Europe describe first sleep and second sleep as common knowledge. People expected to wake up in the middle of the night. They didn't panic. They didn't check clocks. They didn't assume something was wrong. Now imagine waking up at 2 o'clock a.m. today. The first thought is often anxiety. Why am I awake? I need 8 hours. I'll be tired tomorrow. The stress hormone rises immediately. The body shifts into alert mode. And now real insomnia begins. Medieval people didn't fight wakefulness. They accepted it. That acceptance allowed the body to return to sleep naturally. There's also the matter of physical exhaustion. Not gym exhaustion, not mental burnout. True muscular fatigue. Walking, lifting, harvesting, chopping wood. Natural movement throughout the entire day. The body accumulated physical sleep pressure gradually and honestly. Today, many people sit for most of the day under artificial light and expect deep sleep from a body that barely moved. The human organism was designed to move under sunlight and rest under darkness. Remove both, and sleep becomes confused. Even light exposure itself was different. Medieval eyes experienced bright sunlight during the day and almost complete darkness at night. That strong contrast trained circadian rhythms precisely. Modern indoor living flattens that contrast. Dim indoors during the day, bright indoors at night. The body no longer knows what time it truly is. And safety, real safety, matters more than we admit. Medieval homes were simple, but predictable. The door was barred. The fire was controlled. The family was present. There was danger in the world, yes. But once inside, there was enclosure. Today, threats feel invisible. Economic pressure, health fears, digital comparison, social judgment. The brain doesn't distinguish between physical danger and psychological threat very well. It reacts the same way. That's why someone can lie in a perfectly safe modern house and still feel restless. There's another detail rarely discussed. Silence. Not artificial silence created by soundproof walls. True environmental quiet. Without traffic, without engines, without distant electrical hum. Modern low-frequency noise may seem subtle, but it keeps the nervous system slightly alert. Your body evolved to sleep in forests and fields, not in electromagnetic storms. Then there's expectation. Medieval people did not expect perfect sleep. They expected life to be hard and rest to be enough. We expect optimization, deep sleep percentages, REM tracking, performance metrics. Ironically, tracking sleep often reduces it. The more you monitor, the less you surrender. Sleep requires trust. Trust in darkness. Trust in stillness. Trust in the body. Trust is something medieval nights provided naturally. Even bedding materials mattered. Wool and straw breathe. They regulate temperature differently than synthetic foams. Modern materials trap heat and alter microclimates around the body. We engineer comfort, but sometimes remove natural regulation in the process. And finally, there's perspective. When you've spent an entire day outside under the sky, handling tangible tasks, speaking face-to-face with the same small group of people, your brain closes loops more easily. Modern life leaves loops open, messages unanswered, tasks incomplete, information unresolved. Open loops echo at night. Medieval sleep wasn't magical. It wasn't romantic perfection. It was simply aligned with biology. We changed the environment faster than the body could adapt. And now many people assume the problem is personal weakness. It isn't. It's mismatch. The body still wants darkness, rhythm, movement, enclosure, repetition, calm sound, and predictable endings to the day. 500 years ago, the environment forced those conditions. Today, we must create them deliberately. The question is not whether medieval life was better. It wasn't. The question is whether some of their night habits were more compatible with human biology. And the answer, quietly, is yes. Maybe better sleep doesn't require better technology. Maybe it requires remembering what the body has always known.